That'd take a while. And this is how you come down. Whew. What a day. Got the well working perfect, pumping. Probably the highest pressure we've ever had to the house yet. Well, the problem was my old well was the pump at the bottom where the coupling goes to the PVC pipe. The coupling had corroded around the edge and snapped. It started to crack through. I guess that's probably where we were losing pressure the whole time. And then pulling it up sent the whole full crack home. Anyways, got it done. But it was really shitty to go through Christmas with just a trickle of water coming out of the faucet and everybody staring at me for the answer, right? So it's fixed. What else? Yesterday's video. Yeah, that was a shitty vid. That was a shitty email that I read. Had a handful of people email and say they're concerned about, somebody trying to discredit the channel by sending in garbage emails. But when you think about it, you guys, this channel's been around here long enough. The channel's been here long enough. We've all been together long enough to know what's up and to know that, obviously, I do read this shit as it comes in. Sometimes in the past, I've read emails where, as I'm going, it just gets way too out to lunch, like, come on, oh my God, really? And then I stop the camera, and then I record, and I toss it. But yesterday, what was it, Boxing Day or something yesterday, too? No time, and what was I into that sucker already in 15 or 20 minutes? It's like, oh shit, all right, I'll keep going through this one anyway. And I probably should. I don't read the email. That's the problem. I don't proofread and pre-read the emails. I get them out of my inbox and email, and then I save them in notes on my phone, and then I read them to you guys. But at the bottom of that one yesterday, there was a YouTube channel link to the original storyteller, and I went and hit it, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but obviously I think there's some mental health issues there for sure. Oops, oh well, but you can't discredit the channel. It's not even possible. I'll bet you I could read a piece of shit email once a day for a week, but it only discredits the person who sent it in, or it only discredits the person who wrote it out, right? It's not even possible to discredit us or the channel. How are you gonna do it? Think about it, you guys. You're not going to be able to discredit this channel and this group of people. It's not possible. Unless we are guilty of something, right? And how can we discredit? The only way this channel could get discredited would be like if I was making the emails up, right? Or if I was faking Sasquatch something or others, I don't know, episodes around me in the woods or something, getting people to toss boulders in the river, I don't know. Whatever, dressing up in a suit and walking behind me. If you did something like that, then you could discredit the living shit out of me in a heartbeat, right? And the channel. But you can't, because there's far, far too many good, honest people here, far too many good, honest experiences being shared, and we are all good people. So if somebody tries to set us up for a shitty email, they only discredit themselves. Then you just keep going forward, right? And that's where take from it what you will or leave it comes in. Anyway, enough babbling about that. What else? Had a little bit of misfortune. Had my the shitty thing about this current pickup truck I'm bombing around in. It's got a cover on the box of the truck which I've never had before, and I can't tell if my tailgate's up or down. And I paid the price a couple times as I've had it. I was driving down the logging road last winter going steelhead fishing. My tailgate was down, and I lost my jack and tire iron on the logging road. And I'm like, ah, shit. Yesterday, get this one. Yesterday, so I've got a small chainsaw that I usually tie onto my, it's a still. I tie it onto my quad when I go hunting and shit. And I guess I threw that sucker just in the end of the box of my truck yesterday and a hammer as I went to the front yard by the well to do something, possibly do something with it. I didn't need it, and I ended up just jumping in my truck and driving down the road to go whip to the hardware store. And when we come off of our road onto the main road, you got to go around a couple S-turns. And when I whipped onto the road to get ahead of a gravel truck with a trailer and 5 or 6 vehicles behind it, my chainsaw went whipping off the tailgate. But I was committed. I had to go around a couple bends before I could turn right around and whip back. And some opportunist, I guess, decided they needed my chainsaw more than I did, and they stole it. Well, I didn't steal. Would you call it stealing it? They pulled over and grabbed it as fast as they could, tossed it, and kept going. Saw me pull over to turn around and never gave it back to me. That was unfortunate. Let's hope that that person needed the chainsaw more than I did, maybe, right? It's kind of shitty, though. It's kind of shitty when you drop something or you screw up or have a little bit of misfortune and only like the second or third car behind you is an absolute opportunist who don't give no shits. And they decide that that's going to be theirs and not yours. It's kind of weird, right? Anyway, life goes on. Let's get some voices heard, all right? Let's get some voices heard. Enough of me babbling about my shit. Man, I'm so relieved that I fixed that well myself. Now, Afghanistan and Iraq Goatman. Use my name. Fuck the government, Michael Taylor. Okay, Michael. Steve, bracket, browse balls and bracket. I'm the wounded war vet from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. CCTV encounter with the Sabe looking at us through the CCTV cameras and IR, and it banging on the metal blast door and jumping over the 2 fences like an effing frog. 2 fences in that area of the fort, 10 and 15 foot razor wire fence, cleared with ease, and didn't care who saw him. Cocky bastard. You bet your brother I remember that email, man. Absolutely remember it. I'm writing in after your rant about Afghanistan and wanting to see it, and to come clean about the gun battle with the Goatman. Well, the government here is watching you and me, and I'm sure lots are being watched and listened to secretly. The government here especially. The VA has taken away a lot of my benefits and money from being wounded twice, from me telling everyone the truth about their lies. F them. Steve, after getting hit in the head with a golf ball-sized rock at Wyandotte County Lake, I had a concussion from the rock and went the next day to the VA, which they did some blood work on myself. To make a long story short, I have stage 3 cancer in my lungs, esophagus, and liver. The VA knew I had been in Iraq and Afghanistan. Dude, that sucks ass. I've been in Iraq twice and Afghanistan 7 times. My cancer came from the burn pits in Iraq. I'm not scared to die. I already have twice over there. Please don't pity me, just pray for me, please. You got it, man. You got it. And I'm not scared to death either. We've both been there, and it's just going to be another crazy ass ride and experience from this one to the next. And I'm with you. Had several very strange experiences over there in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I'll start with Iraq. There's a museum which we had to empty out the basement for strange... Sorry, one more time. I'll start with Iraq. There was a museum which we had to empty out The basement 4, strange, very large crates. Very heavy. 15 feet long and 4 feet wide and extremely heavy. We were told to never talk about this. 12 crates total. In Afghanistan, my third tour in 207, we were on patrol near Jalalabad, about 10 miles southeast of there. It was 1,800 hours and we were about 6,000 to 7,000 feet up and hiding behind boulders. And all of a sudden, about 50 yards away from a figure, there were 15 of us there, and we all had IR and night vision. And we all saw a man with a goat head and goat hoofs and a human body and arms and hands. We watched it for about 5 to 7 minutes. Then it saw one of my comrades, and it picks up a large boulder, at least 40 to 60 pounds, throws it, hitting one of my buddies in the chest with a Kevlar vest. It broke 4 of his ribs. As soon as we fell down, we lit up. We all hit that thing with at least 60 to 100 rounds drilling it. I was using a .50 caliber hammer and hit it in the head with almost every shot from my gun. You could see it getting hit. It didn't phase it at all, and then it just disappeared into nothing. After 12 to 15 minutes, which seemed like a lifetime, I know all this seems insane, but I swear to this event happened. I don't care if anyone believes this or not. I know what we all saw and shot. It wasn't supposed to ever talk to anyone about this event. F you, government of the United States. I'm coming clean with everything I've seen and heard about. The next day is when I got shot under my Kevlar vest and almost died. I had a very bad feeling before that event happened, like I knew what was coming. Lost 3 very close friends that day. Once out of the hospital, I punched my sergeant in the face. He lost 2 teeth, and I went to the brig for 4 days. I was released due to a higher up reading my side of the event. Our sergeant was a young idiot, had walked us into an ambush. He got transferred back to the States after that event, and I was promoted to sergeant. In 209, another strange event by Kandahar, about 12 miles out, we came across an empty building in the middle of nowhere. It was 1 a.m., and I was on point, when I hear a woman screaming at the top of her lungs. There was a wall around this building and had several gates, some open, some totally gone. I finally found the woman, and it wasn't a woman that I've ever seen. She had a green face and was dressed head to toe in black. All we could see was a green face and hands, and she didn't walk, she floated. What the F? I know there's several people rolling their eyes now. This is all truthful encounters that I have to deal with a lot. We watched it with confusion, but it was there. After about 3 minutes, she was at least 30 feet flying in the air. What the F? I don't care who believes me. I know what the F I saw. And poof, she was gone. No shooting that event. I never asked for all the shit I've seen and heard. I wish I never saw any of this shit. Well, Steve, you asked, and I'm telling you all before I'm gone. I'm prepared for death, so don't feel bad or sorry for me. I'm good with God and Jesus Christ, so I'm ready when it's my time. I'll close this long email for now. I'll tell more later, hopefully, as long as I'm here. Keep fighting, Steve. Keep telling the events people send you. Most are telling you the truth. Talk soon, brass balls. God bless you and Sarah and all your family, including your animals. Michael, Kansas City. Michael, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being brave as fuck. Right? Good for you. Facing it up. I don't know why. You know, it's funny. It's funny how we are raised to fear death. We're raised to fear death. We're all raised to think and go through life thinking that death is the absolute most devastating, horrible, terrifying thing ever. And now that I know, what I'm learning, I've learned what I have been learning and still learn today. I wonder if, because I do know for a fact that what we have been taught for the most part since getting inducted into induced into the public school system and controlled by the government, is I have learned that whatever they want to push on us, we must go to the opposite. So, I wonder if death is actually something possibly be stoked about. right? But it sure is a great tool to use against us to control us, to keep us scared. We were raised to be scared, right? I tell you what, I am not scared of death. I was there, very close. I don't know how many times I've been so, I shouldn't be here, right? I should not be here with a lot of the things that happen to me in the outdoors in the real world. But when I had that doctor telling me flat out, you're going to be dead in 2 days. And you're alone in that. I did a video about it, actually. I told that story in a video. But when you're alone and you're being told, you're dead, man, you're out of here, there's nothing we can do, you're going to die, you're going to be dead in probably 2 days max. And that's what was told to me directly from a doctor in a foreign country, all by myself. And I'm like, holy shit, no way. And I swear on everything I hold close to me today that I actually started to get excited in a way. I was getting jacked up. I was like, holy shit, this is it. Like, this is really it. This is that moment that we all know is coming. This is it. Like, I'm out of here. Oh my God, I'm freaking out of here. And then I remember I was laying there thinking, holy shit, I wonder where I'm going. Oh, this is going to be the craziest, freaking wildest experience out of all of them. And it's coming. I'm here. Holy shit, this is wild. I wonder where I'm going. I wonder where I'm going. This is going to happen tonight? I wonder if I'm going to be awake when it happens. Wow. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I remember looking around the room by myself. I remember thinking, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's just do this. Let's do this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see this. Right? I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't sad. I wasn't screaming out to God, let's do a deal. Let me live. I was just like, okay, man, let's get on with it. Let's do this. This is going to be crazy. So, for me, I still envision death the same way. No, I'm not trying to die. I'm not looking forward to dying. I'm having a good time here. There's a lot of shit I want to get done here before my number's up. But I'm just passing on to you, man. You're in the right mind frame for it. I'm sure you are going to end up somewhere absolutely crazy. The ride's going to be crazy. Many have gone through this passage before you, and many are going to go through that passage after you, including me. So, I appreciate your time sharing, all right, man? And you got time, you want to share more, you get it to me. You get it to me, and I will share it word for word, all right? Everything on the Afghanistan note, we've had so many people from all military, obviously, but we had so many experiences shared from Afghanistan that every single one of them makes you go like this. Holy shit. Right? So, we weren't there. Take from what you will or leave it, but I'll tell you what, there's no shortage of men and women coming back from over there and reporting seeing absolutely crazy ass shit that we shouldn't be able to wrap our beans around, right? It's crazy, man. Stay brave, man. Stay strong. You got this. And get back to me when you can, all right? Now, who else wants to be heard? I'll try to keep my babbling down to a low roar. All right, what's this title? This is titled Some of the Big Picture. All right, let's hear it. Some of the Big Picture, warning adult content. It's okay, I don't think you actually have to warn about adult content anymore because there's grown men dressed as strippers and pretending to have man-on-man sex in front of children now in the schools, so it's okay, right? Said nobody ever. Steve, I have procrastinated writing this letter as the topic is no fun, but believing it will add a truth piece to the puzzle. Here we go. In the mid-90s, I began to study what is commonly called inner healing ministry as a means to help people who have been traumatized through various experiences. I suppose you could say I jumped straight into the deep end, attending conferences and trainings on SRA, Satanic Ritual Abuse. When you fully grasp this, you will obtain, a better understanding of how extensive the dark people and the spiritual wickedness in high places truly is. What I'm sharing will show the futility of attempting to deal in a physical way with those who have sold their souls. Some are called Programmers or handlers, others who may not be to the same degree, are called actors, celebrities, sports heroes, entertainers, politicians, scientists, experts, and musicians. They're all part of the entertainment world and scientific community, and you cannot be highly successful without major compromise. There's a mouthful. Okay, back to the SRA. The torture begins as children, who are often donated by a parent or kidnapped. They partake in unspeakable atrocities, resulting in the child's mind being split and forming what is known as alters. In the process, these victims are able to be programmed to respond to a signal on a nearby cell phone or via a DEW, direct energy weapon, using drones or drive-bys. In essence, their lives are stolen and they become slaves to those who delight in the widely held ritual abuse. It is helpful in assisting such victims to understand what they may have endured, but I will leave out the details, which makes me physically sick to think about. I do not believe that man alone is capable of such things, but has been instructed and influenced by the fallen angels. Who are these evil people? Unfortunately, they look just like you or I. Often they are leaders in their church who donate generously, as money is no object with them. The doctor/counselor/pastor, Ed Smith, who spearheaded the ministry to help these victims beginning in the mid-90s, had some of his patients point out the same man who participated in their abuse. He was prominent in their church, and exposing him was not possible, as no one would believe. The doctor and victims, through a long process of witnesses, statements, and legal measures, took this man to court. When his case came up, a different judge entered and immediately dismissed the current presiding judge and threw the case out of court. That's pretty common lately, isn't it? That's very common. These people are untouchable. They're in league with what the scripture calls powers, principalities, and rulers of darkness in this present world. The angels who rebelled against God and thus became fallen angels. Nevertheless, have retained their supernatural abilities and quite literally work with all top world leaders. Without their knowledge, man alone could not obtain the same accomplishments in cyber and scientific arenas. For example, the degrees of DNA manipulating compounds contained in the infamous jab. Satan's desires to rule over men, and this is one way to achieve it, by corrupting man's natural DNA and aligning it to the cyber world. These are the same forces behind the driving worldwide machine, leading every nation to destruction, blaming China and Russia as purely naive. Our lives, whether we know it or believe it, is mainly a spiritual battle. Some victims have been helped through various prayer ministries, but the damage and scarring is so deep that it will only be in the next life where they can receive full healing. Many are unaware that they are victimized, but their shattered and severely dysfunctional lives show the side effects. These same controllers, whose conscience has been seared, as with a hot iron, are the ones ruling the present global cartel. Some things can be changed or slowed down via prayer and actions, but if Satan truly is the God of this world, as Scripture says, the end is not good. You often ask a question, what can be done? In my opinion, seeking, spreading, and standing for truth is first and foremost on the list. This means not compromising our core beliefs and values, opposing misguided mainstream thinking and propaganda. This likely will cost us many friendships and even separation from loved ones, although the loss of employment, as we have seen, non-compliance isn't popular. I take the stand that I'm just passing through and that this life is a test. There truly will be hell to pay for those evil ones, but to those who pass the test awaits a better and more permanent home. Without knowing it, you recently quoted a modified version of Proverbs 23:7 when you said, "Whatever thoughts are in your head will eventually come true." This is exactly correct. Yes, it is. Proverbs say, "As a man thinks in his heart, as is he." I believe you have been given an aspect of wisdom from above due to your endless campaign of seeking truth. I spent 4 of my 7 decades studying, seeking, experiencing, and testing biblical truth, and in my opinion, the majority of alleged Christians today have never truly made contact with God. God has left the building, as so to speak. Most of what remains is man's tradition, culture, emotion, and goodwill. Not a popular statement, but my conclusion. Riker, feel free to use my name. Okay, man, that was a big mouthful, right? A lot of people are shaking their head up and down. A lot of people are saying, you've never read the Bible properly. A lot of people are saying all sorts of shit. But myself, I can relate to a lot of what you just said. And I know that speak the truth is doing wonders. But I know there is myself and a lot of others who wished that we could just lop the heads off snakes, right? Yeah. I'll bite my lip on that one for now. That's a Rumble channel. That's a Rumble channel topic for me to rip out. But anyway, absolutely appreciate the time you just spent sharing that. Absolutely appreciate it, and I can relate to so much of what you just said is ridiculous. Now, before I rant on, let's see what else we have here. Who else? Excuse me. This is titled Past Video. Hi, Steve. Crazy stuff in Arizona. Not sure if anyone caught this and informed you of it. In the video sent to you and added to your video titled 2 new Sasquatch photos and 2 new sound recordings sent in. Starting at 26 minutes, 27 seconds. There are beings, young, I think, swinging, jumping from the tree, swinging and jumping from tree top to tree top as if playing. Please check it out and bring it out to your viewers' attention. My wife also sent a story about a Sasquatch watching her dance in her bedroom as a child in Tennessee and looking at the window to see one smiling and had a weird laugh. She screamed and nothing came out. She clearly saw its face. Her stepfather did not believe her, as the window was at least 8 feet off the ground. We also visited Apache Reservation in Arizona while on a short weekend vacation in Pinetop-Lakeside. We drove up the road on the reservation, turned right just out of view of any vehicles on the main dirt road, as the sign coming in said, Native members only. A vehicle sped down the main road but kept straight and did not turn toward us, so we stayed about 10 minutes. Within 2 minutes, we got a tree knock a few hundred feet away. We turned down the radio, shut the truck off to hear better, and within a minute got another tree knock, this time only 100 feet away. Did not see anything, but we knew what it was. We left right away, as I knew that truck would be back soon looking for us. Next story. We live in Queen Valley, Arizona. We bought 10 acres, graded off the top, and brought our 24-foot camper up there. I stayed in the camper for 3 months while doing more clearing. One night I had just gone to bed about 15 minutes prior to feeling this. Something on the side of my camper lifted it up, fully extending the springs and dropping it. I swayed back and forth a few times in the bed from the movement. We do have free-range black Angus out there, and they would have left a dent from lifting that side of the camper. Plus, I would have heard them moving around, as they are hardly ever alone. I knew what it was, but stayed calm. I figured it was between the truck and the camper, so I could not get to it anyways. I thought to myself, there's nothing you can do, so I went to sleep. Hard rock, flat, cleared ground, so no footprints. Last events. I've seen shadow beings and only what I can describe as traveling spirits. The shadow beings I see trying to blend in, but I see them occasionally. One in particular was taller than the house, a one-story ranch behind us. It was crouched on the roof, and when I looked and made out the shape, which looked like a kneeling man, it stepped off the roof. 1 foot on the ground and the other still on the roof. I could see the whole outline until it stepped into the darkness. Nothing else happened as I waited. The spirit beings were on Route 88, a few miles past Tortilla Flats, just enough room to park. I got out, walked to the edge of the deep canyon. After half an hour or so, I heard what I can only describe as traveling whispers, but louder than a person whispering, much, much louder. I stayed still, listening, and after 10 seconds, it had gone by below me in the canyon. It was not a person. It sounded like wish-wa-shoo-eyed, ish, swish, shaw. My best imitation, lol. It didn't scare me, but I knew it wasn't human. Because someone else has heard this too, I guess it was not the last story. We lived in Apache Junction for 2.5 years on Holmes Road, Holmes Road. If you Google it, it's at the end of the road. There's only one house between us and the front or west side of Superstition Mountain. It had stopped raining, so I went out on the back porch to smoke. Something moved behind the bush, so I watched and waited. No effing kidding. Swear to God on my life. Out walked a 20-inch or so tall dinosaur that looked exactly like a Rex. I said, holy shit, and watched for about 30 seconds. It made eye contact with me and calmly walked behind another bush and seemed to disappear. It was dark grayish on the bottom half and darker as it went up to its back like a greenish turning black. I told my wife about it and she said she saw it 2 weeks ago, but did not think I would believe her. I asked her to show me where she saw it and how big it was. Everything matched what I saw. It had 2 T-Rex type arms, round belly, and thick back legs. It was not a lizard. I spent a lot of time out in the desert, and I have seen almost everything out there we know of, and then some. Hundreds of diamondbacks, Mojave rattlers, tarantulas, etc. Lizards do not walk on back feet only and have little stubby arms. Thanks for all the sharing of knowledge. I hope someone can corroborate what we saw. I hear and have read these T-Rex get to 6 feet in the Badlands of Texas. Shane from Queen Valley. Population just over 800 in our town, and I love it that way. Okay, Shane. That's a handful, man. That's a mouthful. A small dinosaur sighting. I don't think that's been sent in yet. Not saying it didn't happen. I wasn't there. Crazier shit's been seen by many, including people that I know personally. So, you never know, right? But now that you've said where and what, and you're brave enough to come forward, let's see what chimes in, right? Because now, from what I've learned so far is, if somebody emails us about it, and it's legit, somebody else chimes in. They either comment in the comment section below, or they email me. But somebody else chimes in with the exact same experience or visual, right? So, let's see what comes from this email. Arizona, the desert. The desert seems to be a bit of a hotbed no matter what continent you're on, right? The desert always seems to have some sort of shit going on. Don't know why. Same as the ocean, right? The ocean's just a big wet desert. And the ocean's got a lot of crazy shit going on too. Probably because we aren't running around in those areas so much, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what comes after sending that one in. Thanks, man. Thanks for the share. Okay, what do we got? They got another one titled Memory Jogged. Hey, Steve, Merry Christmas to you, Sarah, and your fluff ball of crazy, and all the others in the round table of knowledge. Merry Christmas to you, too. I sent an email about having a warning in my head when on a family reunion playing on a hay bale. Told me to go. This message is for something else I've never been able to figure out. I was tree planting in the rocky house area. Not fun work, but I tried. I was to plant up a tree line about 15 feet from the line and work a grid. The other planters got dropped off in other areas not far off. It was mid-June and pretty hot. I had bought a cheap metal frame backpack and held my cache of saplings and started to plant. If you've ever planted before, you use a small spade, push it in, create a hole, plant, and use a boot to push dirt around the sapling. Anyway, almost immediately, I got hit with clouds of no-see-ums, small bugs that eat you alive. At this time, it was cloudless, hot, and sunny. In a matter of 5 minutes, as I scratched at my bug-bitten face, I watched as just ahead over a small rising hill overlooking the valley ahead, I saw the darkest clouds approaching alarmingly fast. After seeing the first stroke of lightning in the clouds, I looked at all my metal strapping. LOL. Tossing my backpack, spade, and shovel, everything, I ran back to where the work truck that served as base camp was. A sudden flash blinded me, and I felt myself being thrown forward. And then the biggest crash, clap, and thunder hit. I survived, but had 2 more close calls with lightning and started to notice some strange things. I had many occurrences of short-term foreknowledge of things about to happen. Not long and never life-changing, just weird. Walking down the street of my small town Brooks, street lights would blink off as I walked by and light up as I continued. 3, 4, 5 in a row. Hard to see it as a coincidence. Previously, when I was 13 or 14, I was biking home late at night through a small local forest park. I saw something above me. I pedaled my BMX as fast as I could out of the park and saw what I could only describe as undescribable. Now, I've seen the generally accepted UFO look. This wasn't it. No lights. I could see the general shape as it blackened out the stars above. I watched it as it glided over my school, which is about 3/4 of a block long. This thing covered it, plus as it slowly glided on. No idea what I was seeing. No idea why I seem to attract weird, but it will always confuse me. Maybe someone can comment and help. And there you go. The key question at the end of the email. Maybe someone can comment and help. So there you go. Hit it up in the comment section below and we'll see what comes of that one, right? So much weird shit going on, I'll tell you what. It's endless. I'm going to get one more and then I got to go in. I came about doing this later today. All right, let's go one more. This one's titled Fear. Fear. Mr. Steve, I think you've got the best channel on YouTube. Well, thank you for the kind words, because it's all yours and everybody else's. It's not mine. It's everybody's now. On a side note, I think you could put out better nature videos and documentaries than even Animal Planet or the Discovery Channel, especially since those assholes seem intent on putting out shows that feature the lifestyles of hillbillies and rednecks instead of nature. But I digress. Wouldn't know. I don't watch TV, man. On to the subject at hand. I've been listening to your channel for quite some time now, and what intrigues me is the accounts of people that are filled with terror, dread, and fear, because of the proximity of not only Sasquatches, but other like cryptids as well. These are stories, accounts, and legends of various paranormal, otherworldly entities that feed off the energy, life force released from the powerful negative emotions of humans, and that being the primal emotion of fear. Curiously, it would seem that the release of negative life force energy on a biological level, that being adrenaline, in regards to these beings and creatures, that is if they want to consume flesh, meat, and blood, and if they have the same intelligence and awareness, at least equal to that of our own, that instilling fear would be counterproductive, since adrenaline released by stress before slaughter uses up glycogen? Sorry, you know me in pronouncing words sometimes. Glycogen, I'm going to call it. Which means there's not enough lactic acid produced post-mortem. This affects different kinds of meat/flesh in different ways. But in general, the meat/flesh will be tough, tasteless, and high in pH, and will go bad quicker than unstressed meat. Which is why homesteaders understand that it is to their advantage to dispatch various livestock in the most humane, least stressful way possible. I agree. All this makes me wonder that if the Sasquatch and other cryptids who instill fear in people, given all their apparent and obvious physical power, could easily kill whatever prey it wishes to, that instead it prefers to terrorize and scare humans, perhaps to feed off their emotional energy of fear like some emotional psychic vampire? Clearly, these cryptids have impressive psychic abilities, given the fact there are accounts of mind speak, thought casting, missing time, telekinesis, portals, and ESP in general. I'm sure everyone knows at least someone in their life that they tried to avoid because they find them to be an emotional drain on their soul and spirit. Someone who, quote, sucks the life out of them, end quote. As the saying goes, when they're around, which is why many such people turn in parasitic ghosts when they are around, which is why many such people turn into parasitic ghosts when they die and feed off the living, as in, quote, shadow people, end quote, and other vampiric entities, in my opinion. This could also be why the dark evil powers that be in governments and the media seem to be intent on giving us, we the masses, an ever-constant diet of fear. The question is, who or what is feeding off this tidal wave of constant, unrelenting fear? Case in point, the recent, or shall I say, concurrent pandemic. Pan is after all the god of fear. We get the word panic. When the legend that is horned god Pan would cause flocks of sheep and other livestock to run and stampede in a panic without any apparent causes or reasons. It's curious that the New Testament of the Bible refers to believers as sheep, that the world, quote, counts them as sheep fit for the slaughter, end quote. With sheep, there are two ways to harvest. One can constantly shear the sheep of its wool, and the sheep gets to keep its life, or one could slaughter the sheep, take in all of its life, and produce a fleece, which is wool and the attached skin. Bracket. Do you remember the legend of Golden Fleece with Jason and the Argonauts, who go on an adventure with the help of the demigod Hercules to acquire the magical Golden Fleece, which is guarded by of all things a dragon in the garden that was created by the gods? Curiously, I hear elements of the Genesis story in that Adam and Eve discover they are naked after sinning because of the words of a serpent/dragon, and have to cover themselves using leaves because their spiritual outer covering, their wool, their fleece, is now gone. And one of the first things that God says to them after this catastrophe is, fear not. The phrase fear not is repeated also in the words of Jesus to his disciples when they were scared of the storm. Fear not. Siphoning or milking fear out of a population will give you a constant supply. The question is, a constant supply for who or whom? Now, me personally, I've never had an encounter with a Sasquatch or a Dogman type of being. However, I believe I've had a contact with a small, diminutive type being in particular that looked to be approximately 6 inches tall, which thankfully I think my house cats either repelled or dispatched. No shit. But I don't think you would want to hear about gnomes or bogarts, as I think that is what the creature is that I saw crawling on the ceiling of my bedroom from out of my closet, which is one reason I will never be without house cats. They're great protection from such beings. I'm in the opinion that cats have magical Zen-like abilities. And I've seen a pukwudgie at night. Pukwudgie? Pukwudgie at night. That is, unless porcupines can run on 2 feet and are 4 feet tall. You go ahead and use my name, since everybody who knows me thinks I'm crazy as F anyhow. Jim Spiegel. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, then it's not the end. Fear not. That's a good one. Let me read that one again. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, then it's not the end. Fear not. Good one, man. All right, there's another handful. You never know. You got a lot of people listening, munching on that, rolling their eyes, nodding their head, or pondering. Anyway, I gotta get ripping. My brain's going off to other tasks. When it does that, I don't read very smoothly, and I am frickin' done, tired. But I'm gonna close with this one quick thought for everybody on the gun thing that I mentioned earlier. I want you to all picture this one. I don't care what country you are in. Picture this, all right? Let's picture old John Smith and his family down the road. They've been living there for 3 generations. He's been volunteering all of his life. True pillar of the community, takes care of people, volunteers his time, trustworthy man, helped many forever. And then all of a sudden, The government sends some people over to his house, and previously, before those people go to his house, they already know that he's a law-abiding citizen, a pillar of the community. They know he is harmless, he would never hurt a soul, and he's a good citizen. But they knock on his door and demand him to hand over his guns, because he can't have them now. Even though before they got to the door of his house, they knew that man was a good human being, a stellar pillar of the community, a solid individual, trustworthy, and a member of the community that once made his country great. But they still went to his house anyway and demanded that he hand over his guns, because he can't have them anymore. And if he does, he'll be a criminal. Right? You see what I'm getting at, you guys? And just to possibly get people to look at it from a different angle. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And that's why I say those individuals who act as the violent tool of the criminal government, they will go to a good, solid pillar of the community's house and demand his weapons. And if they don't give them to them, you know they are ready to point their guns at him and take the safeties off. Right? How brutal is that? It's unacceptable, it's wrong, and the individuals that will go forward and do that are spineless pieces of shit. Cowards, criminals themselves, and absolutely useless to a good community, society. There you go. That's what I'll close on. Chew on that for a little bit. So, never, ever, ever, to all you good, solid pillars of your communities, do not ever give your guns away. Don't ever, ever, ever do it. All right? Never. There you go. I'll be back shortly with more voices to be heard. Never fear anything. All right, talk to you later.